welcome to BR the CEO's random, uncut, unfiltered coaching videos. So in this video, we're going to be talking about how to get out of debt. I was in heavy debt about 2 times. So I made multiple seven figures in the credit space, rental car space combined. And I kind of want to just get on here and give you all some game, right? So today we're talking about how to pay debt back, because this is a big thing that is in the business world and people don't know how to get out of it from a beginner standpoint. So a lot of us are beginners. If you're young, 18, 20, 23, 24, 25, all the way up to 30, you're going to need to learn how to pay back debt the right way. Of course, a lot of this debt might not even be bad debt. There's a difference between good debt and bad debt. Good debt is when you invest into investments, but you still need to pay the loan back. Bad debt is when you buy designer and BS cars, all of that type of stuff, right? So a lot of y'all might have went through college. I went through college. And of course, sometimes you might have debt, but I never had any debt, to be honest, when it comes to college, but some of y'all might have. And a lot of my videos are towards business owners. But if you're not a business owner, this video can still be good for you. So first thing you're going to be doing, you can choose two things whenever it comes to paying off debt. There's two different routes to take, you should call it. So route number one is pay off your credit cards with the highest interest rates. So all you have to do, if you have like 1 to maybe 3 credit cards, you can pick which credit card has the most amount of interest. Okay. And you will pay the credit card that has the most amount of interest first. Okay. You want to attack that credit card with every single dollar, because what interest does is it's basically killing your profits. So if you have a high interest rate on, one credit card, let's say 20%, and you're paying $100, $20 is going towards interest alone. Okay. So you can think of, if you have $10,000 on a credit card and you're paying 20%, and every time you pay $1,000, 200 of those dollars is going straight towards interest. Okay. Same with auto loans. A lot of auto loans, people don't understand that if they have a 10% auto loan, 15%, 20% auto loan of interest, like that's how much is incurred or interest on their auto loan. When they pay the credit card or when they pay the auto loan, they don't know that there's actually, the payment amount isn't going straight to that credit card or straight to the balance of your credit card or straight to the balance of your auto loan. A lot of that is going to your credit card interest or your auto loan interest rates. Okay. So understand interest and what it actually does and how it actually works. So every time you're paying off a credit card or auto loan, a percentage of that, depending on what your interest rate is going to interest. Okay. But the banks won't tell you that. They don't tell you this amount is going towards interest or that amount is going towards your credit card interest, right? They don't tell y'all that, which is why y'all are watching this video. Okay. So subscribe if you haven't already, because I give a lot of game and then I vlog. I actually show y'all what I do with my businesses and what I do with my credit. And I show y'all in real time, right? So that's number one. Pay off your credit cards with the highest interest rates first. Okay. Number two, you pay off the smaller credit card amounts first, and then you work your way up to the bigger credit card amounts. So for example, you have 3 credit cards. One credit card you owe 1,000, one credit card you owe 5,000, the third credit card you owe 10,000. You're going to focus on the lower amount. You're going to focus on the lower amount first. So the $1,000, that's easier. And then as you pay down each credit card, it's just going to snowball effect into paying your higher interest rates or your higher credit card limits. And that is, I guess you can call it like a snowball method. Smaller limits first, and then that will snowball until you're not paying interest on that first credit card or having a minimum payment due on that first credit card. You'll take that money instead of paying the first credit card because you've paid it off, and roll that income that you would be paying on the first credit card and roll all of those payments into the second credit card. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, always DM me on Instagram and get a better explanation, or social media at BR the CEO. And then, of course, before, I should have put this in the beginning, but before you do any of that, lower your expenses. It's off rip. So you want to use like systems like FreshBooks. I use FreshBooks to track all of my businesses, all of my expenses. I use FreshBooks to see exactly what I'm spending. And of course, you can use your bank statements and stuff like that. But FreshBooks is literally giving you a breakdown of what you're spending money on. So go ahead and deep dive into what you're spending money on and actually deep dive into it thoroughly. So for example, You can lower your phone bill. A lot of people may be paying $150 for your phone bill, but you can lower it to a lower plan and have it at only $50 per month. Same thing with internet. You can lower your internet bills lower. Maybe if you have an apartment, you might cancel your parking space, right? Your parking space might be $100 per month, right? Just simple stuff like that. And by the time you look up, you're saving $500 per month, right? And I personally do this every single month just to make sure I'm not spending on outrageously like random stuff, right? So I go ahead and make sure that every single month I'm not spending any random money. I don't care how much money I make. That is how you keep money. You spend less, right? Not necessarily be cheap, but you obviously want to keep your expenses low. And of course, all of that money that you're just wasting is profit. All right. So lower your expenses. All right. So next up, I wanted to put this in the beginning, but I know you probably wouldn't watch if I did. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there right now. Why do you actually need to pay off debt, right? Paying off debt allows you to profit more money and actually be able to actually see your money that you're making. So it was one point where I was in heavy debt, but I was making a lot of money. I still am making a lot of money, but at this time when I first started, like 10K per month, that was a lot of money. But I didn't notice that I was making a lot of money, and I didn't know why that balance of money that I was making every month isn't showing in my bank account. And it's simply because I had a lot of interest. I had a lot of interest rates that were killing me, right? So I had 5, 10 credit cards at this time because I do credit. For the ones who don't know, I'm very big in the credit space. I invest my credit. I go by BR the CEO on all social media. So y'all go check me out on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. But I'm very big with credit. So I didn't realize until I really broke it down, like how much monthly I'm paying in interest rates. And I'm like, okay, this makes a lot of sense that most of my money is going towards interest. So I paid down all my credit cards, and then that 10K per month started reflecting in my bank account. Now, this was years ago. Of course, I've went through this. I've learned it, which is why I'm telling y'all, right? So I've learned a lot of this stuff, and I'm currently, just learning more as we go. But I don't have to run into that same situation again. So go ahead and, pay down your debt as fast as possible, especially for the ones who don't know where their money is going. Once you lower your expenses and then you look at all the interest rates that you're paying, it's going to make sense. Okay. Next up, credit card debt. You can get credit cards at 0% interest. So you get 0 to 12 months, no interest for most credit cards. A lot of credit cards also go past 12 months of no interest. So you have to learn how to move debt. So let's say if I do have a credit card that has a 20% interest rate, I want to go apply for a new card that has a 0% interest rate for the next 12 months and transfer that debt from my credit card with the 20% interest and transfer that debt to the card with 0% interest, which will be my new credit card. Okay. And y'all want to learn how to transfer that debt so that you can never pay interest again. And that's how I move that around. Unless I really need to make a big investment and I know this investment is going to return regardless of my interest rates, go ahead and invest your credit. That's what it's there for. It's there to borrow money so you can, make moves and make more cash and then pay back the debt. So always remember, y'all, your interest rates are what's dissolving your profits. So if you don't have a lot of profits, if you don't see a lot of profits, 9 times out of 10, you just have high expenses and you need to lower your interest rates. That's pretty much it. So this is video number 3 of the organic, raw, uncut, unfiltered, 3 out of 5 videos with BR the CEO. So if y'all like this video, go ahead and subscribe. Make sure y'all watch all of my vlogs and stuff like that, and see a little bit more behind the scenes of what I do with my rental car business, my credit agency. I've made over $1 million with Credit Repair Cloud and counting, right? I don't even use that software anymore, but for my credit people out there, y'all know what it is when it comes to the Credit Repair Cloud, Dispute Fox. I currently use Dispute Fox, but I'm getting off topic, so I will catch y'all later in the next video, and I will see y'all later in the next one.